Hello once again, this is the Ryan Syndicate 910, thanks for watching. Pat Condell has come out in strong support of the Tancredo Jihad Prevention Act, which would empower the federal government to deny visas to individuals who advocate for the establishment of Sharia law, as well as the ability to strip citizenship away from individuals who advocate it, after they are naturalized. And I don't know if this bill would allow the government to take it away from a natural-born citizen of the United States, but of course one can easily lead to the other. But let's put all that aside for the moment. Now, Pat Condell is British. He lives in the United Kingdom. So it is excusable for him to not be fully aware of the realities of American history, as well as the wide variation of political parties that exist in the USA. Now, over the course of our history, we have gone to war with nations of various political viewpoints. Different forms of government, different countries have gone to war with us over the past 200 some odd years. What is interesting is that there are political parties existent in the United States which advocate those same political viewpoints. There are political parties existent in the United States now which advocate a form of government once or currently held by a government with which the United States was once at war. I don't know if you know this. I'll give you a few examples. The American Revolution was fought against a constitutional monarchy, right? The United Kingdom. There exists in the United States a very small political party which was formed in 1998. It's called the Royalist Party of America, and they openly advocate the United States to become a constitutional monarchy. Now, notwithstanding the fact that we went through 8 years of revolution to kick out a constitutional monarchy from the American colonies, these people think that it's a good idea, that we go from what we have, a federal republic, to a constitutional monarchy. These people, as far as I'm aware, have not been threatened with deportation to Britain. Now, from 1861 to 1865, the United States was engaged in its Civil War, the bloodiest war in American history. Right? Now, the war was started because a number of southern states split off, or attempted to split off from the Union and form their own country. 1865, that issue was settled, and they were brought back into the Union. There are political parties existent in some southern states. These are known as Southern parties, and they advocate Southern secession from the Union and the reestablishment of the Confederate States of America. Now, after the Civil War, a number of former Confederates did leave the USA. Some of them went to Brazil, some went to the United Kingdom, but for the most part, they stayed here in the United States and went on with their lives. The people in these Southern parties are not threatened with jail time for advocating a political point of view which led to a war in the United States, which led to the country being split in half and more casualties in that war than at any other war in American history, or all the other wars put together. Furthermore, there are political parties existent in the United States which advocate National Socialism, or Nazism. From 1941 to 45, Pat, maybe you remember this war, it's called the Second World War, or World War II. There are political parties existent in the United States right now that advocate National Socialism and look to Adolf Hitler as their ideological founder. These people are not threatened with deportation, they're not threatened with imprisonment, they're not hit with fines, and their political parties are allowed to exist and to function and to recruit new members. Now, the United States engaged in a Cold War for a number of decades with the Soviet Union, to a lesser extent with Communist China, and we engaged in 2 outright military conflicts with communist countries. the Korean War and the Vietnam War. We have communist parties in America. The oldest one is the Communist Party USA. We also have the Revolutionary Communist Party. We've had the Communist Workers' Party, and so on and so forth. Now, the Revolutionary Communist Party is Maoist. From 1951 to 53, the United States was at war with Maoist Communist China. Pat? So, we are going to allow these political parties to openly advocate the establishment of a form of government which was or is currently held by a country with which the United States had at one point been at war. But if someone advocates Sharia, a point of view once held by, well, still held by the Taliban and other radical Islamic groups, we should single out Sharia as cause to strip someone of their citizenship or deny them a visa or expel them from the country. Pat, you make no fucking sense. If we're going to allow communist parties and Nazi parties and Royalist parties to exist in the United States, and yes, these are very small political parties. These are infinitesimal sized parties. They're barely even worth thinking about. But they are allowed to exist because, why? The First Amendment. Now, Pat, this bill would essentially be an amendment to the First Amendment to the U.S. Bill of Rights, which allows you freedom of speech. You are allowed to advocate any political system you wish as long as you do not engage in violence. When you advocate violence, then the hammer comes down. And this is why groups like the Ku Klux Klan can form the Knights Party, and the Ku Klux Klan can exist as a legal entity within the United States as long as, at least they publicly deride the use of violence as a means of political change. So, Pat, you need to educate yourself a little bit more in American history and the reality of the American political scene, but I'm going to make allowances for you because you are a British citizen living in the United Kingdom, sticking your nose into what Americans do with their country and who we allow in here and who we allow to become citizens and remain citizens, which, by the way, is really none of your damn business. This is the Ryan Syndicate 910. Thanks for watching.